How's it going, everybody? Welcome to another edition of the Fantasy Baseball Dynasty podcast. I'm your host, Keith Demolder, with a special guest, a somewhat of a rival in the league, a guy that is probably one of the most active players in the league, Joseph Biederman. Joey, how are we doing today?
Doing good. Yeah, my wife isn't so happy about me being so active in the league. But yeah, I love it. You gotta keep engaged or else people, it's not as fun if you're just playing each other and not having commentary. So gotta keep it going.
I agree. I agree. Yeah, the first player draft we had back in 2024, which seems like ages ago at this point.
Mm,
Definitely wouldn't have been the same without you, Joey. Kind of, texting everybody about their picks and making
mm.
sure people were on top of it. I was with Connor, our co-GM at the time, driving down on the way to spring training. So, yeah,
Oh, that's
definitely
awesome.
were super funny, just like in those texts in the group chat. So, just want to say I appreciate that.
Of course.
So today
Gotta
we're
go ahead.
Oh, sorry. We're talking about the first year player draft here in 2026. And this is kind of the prospect edition because Joey is, I mean, definitely one of the prospect heavy teams in the league. A lot of guys that are younger. I mean, do you even have a guy right now over the age of 30?
It's funny that you say that because I on my starting roster, I have one. Two. No, one over the age of 30. I got one at 30, but yeah, only one at 31. So I keep it young.
That's right. That's right. And a lot of that, I mean, drafting a guy like Paul Skeens, who definitely hit Chase Burns, a couple of those guys, Andrew Abbott, very, very young pitchers. You picked up a guy that we liked for sure, which is Reed Detmers recently. So
Yeah.
a little bit jealous, but you also have had a bit of unluck, as they say. You are the unluckiest team in the league. Just curious, like, did you piss someone off in a different life? Like, what happened?
I actually didn't even choose that team name. It actually just I logged in one day and it just showed up as unluckiest team. So clearly Fantrax is keeping track on the backside of who's clearly the unluckiest. No, just had a lot of unfortunate injury luck. I mean, to touch on, since I don't get to speak on this very often, to
That's right.
touch on um, the very first draft we had when we started this back in, what was it, 2023 or 2024?
2024.
2024, when we first had the draft of drafting everyone. I mean, if you look at it, I was coming off of, and I'm looking at another screen right now, but if we look at the 2024 regular draft, my first six picks, they all should have been hits. I mean, Julio Rodriguez was coming off an incredible year.
Right.
Adley Rushman was said to be the future catcher of the league. Bo Bichette was coming off of an incredible year, young type schoolboy, obviously. Paul Skeens, Isaac Paredes, Mitch Keller was decent pitcher at the time. You got Ryan Reynolds, Andrew Abbott, up and coming. I mean, you look at the first seven picks and you're like, I felt very good about it because my thought process going into the draft and maybe looking back on it, it wasn't the best. Was I wanted guys that were under the age of like 27
Hmm.
and coming into their prime, maybe taking some risks on some guys that are a little younger. But I wanted young guys. I wasn't going for immediate, like I knew I was going to win the first year, but I wanted to be set up for I was going to be competitive, especially the next year's coming. And then if we look at what happened that first year, Julio Rodriguez, the worst year he's had in MLB. Adley Rushman, it doesn't seem like he's the catcher of the future anymore. Bo Bichette, that 2024 year was just atrocious. Schoolboy won Cy Young. Paul Skeens was Rookie of the Year. So it was kind of like my first three picks just put me in the hole. And then, as everyone knows, I traded Tiger Schoolboy. Um, and that was only because he won Cy Young. I still got like ninth place with School and Skeens. And I'm like, you know what? He's 29. He's throwing faster than he ever has before. Like, I'm kind of prepping for maybe the inevitable. So that was my thought process when I traded him. Um, Now I wish that I got Soderstrom instead of CES, looking back at it, which was on the table, um, including the other two guys who I'm high on, clearly. But then he won Cy Young again at the age of 30. So that kind of made it look even worse. But yeah, I mean, having Skubal and Skeens back to back, and I was high on Chirrillo, but I took Bichette. So, there's some misses in there. But they bounced back. Julio had a better 2025. Bichette had a better 2025, who's no longer on the team. But
Right.
and then Skeens is the future. Abbott, I still am high on Abbott, James Wood, stuff like that. So yeah, those are my thoughts.
There you go.
Those
Yeah.
those those are the thought processes that everyone wants to know in the league.
Yeah, I mean that. Yeah, we obviously have shared our opinions, or I have shared my opinions on the
Yeah,
the school trade plenty. Folks know, but I mean, I think like at the end of the day, it's a long game sort of thing, and we all know that's kind of been your mentality. And who knows, maybe Max Clark does become a superstar. I think that kind of like what we saw the other day. Quinn Matthews, what, 7 Ks, 7 of his 8 outs were strikeouts, so
yeah,
he's got the stuff, and St. Louis has availability in their rotation. It's just a matter of like when does he get called up, and if he does,
right.
is he going to be as good as projected? So who knows? But and yeah, I think Max Clark, he's what is he, top 25 prospect right now? Top 10?
He was top three going into the end of last year. So I don't know where he's. I think he probably is top 10. He's
Right.
been making a lot more noise off the field lately, which has been a little concerning for me. But the stuff is there, so we'll just have to wait for another probably couple years till he makes his true day. Well, did he make his debut last year? I don't
No,
remember if
no.
he did. And so, no, so this year he'll probably come up September call ups. So
Yeah,
we'll see.
exactly. So looking at this year's first year player draft, you didn't have the number one overall pick, which I thought that you might, but I mean your team was good enough to get the fourth pick. Was that
Yeah,
intentional? Were you not trying to tank? Like what was the thought process in last year?
my thing is when even in football fantasy, I don't want to tank. Like I want to put out the best possible team that I can. Now, clearly that was the fourth worst. But I never want to tank intentionally. Like maybe I'll put in a couple players that may not get me an amount of points that I could possibly get. But if you saw my team last year, I had like 10 injuries at the end of the year. So there wasn't really space to try to tank. It kind of just happened on its own.
Right.
So, but I'm very happy. I was high on Liam Doyle. Um, I obviously wanted Kate Anderson, but I knew he was probably going to go in the top three.
Hmm.
Um, you called it out in the last episode. My thought process. I'm going in. Probably is going to be a pitcher. Probably going to be young. So am I kind of snuck out of that? Murakami, too old for me. I wasn't looking for immediate impact. I'm looking for potential immediate impact. Like if Doyle just kind of kills it in the minor leagues, and in spring training here, you might see him towards the end of summer. Um, but another year maybe. But Eli Willett's a little too young for me. Holiday a little too young for me. Jojo Parker's good. Jamie Arnold, I was also back and forth on him. If Doyle was gone, I probably would have taken Seth Hernandez. So
Hmm.
just because same thought process as you is like, okay, the pitching, starting pitching for Pittsburgh Price got Skeens. Who knows what's going to happen with Jared Jones? I got Hunter Barco kind of knocking at the door and a couple other guys, but Seth Hernandez has got a live fastball. So that was my thought process going in.
Gotcha. Yeah, I mean we like Doyle as well, and you got him there, which I think is a solid pick. I think he's a top five guy. Um, yeah, I thought it was a fine pick for sure. And then you got a lot of guys that we had our eye on for sure. And Andrew Fisher in the second, I think one of the best third baseman prospects, aside from Okamoto or Murakami, who I don't think are legit true third baseman. But yeah, curious on Fisher there. It seems like you like a lot of these college guys.
Yeah. So problem with guys that are 18, unless they're like, a Bryce Harper or Paul Skeens coming out of either high school or like they're coming out of college early, whatever it may, or they don't really come out of college early, come out as a junior or something. It's really, it's hard for me to grab them because 18, they're probably not going to see the MLB for at least 2 or 3 years. So, I mean, you see a Joswar Gonzalez from the last draft on the Giants, and he may see the field this year, which is not terribly common for a younger player like that. But you see Hernandez, the number one international prospect the Giants got, and I probably won't see him for another 4 years. So 3 or 4 years. So Andrew Fisher, it was kind of like best available at that time. I felt like I was looking at Fiend, I was looking at Nagans, but I didn't like everything that was being said about them. I
Mm.
watched probably about 3 or 4 different videos from 3 or 4 different I want to say like podcasts that speak about it. And as you guys have probably assumed, I do follow quite a bit of Twitter accounts or X accounts, whatever you want to call it, that speak about the stuff that goes on and the stats, the advanced stats. So I didn't like Nans too much and Fiend too much because afraid they might be platoon guys or they might only hit from one side of the plate when a certain pitcher, right-handed pitcher's up. So Fisher was the next best available. I wanted Witherspoon and I wanted Bremer, and they both went right before. So that was my thought process at Fisher.
Gotcha. Kind of best available. You weren't a Gage Wood guy.
I did like Gage Wood, but from what I read, he was a little bit more raw. He's going to be good. I think he's a name to watch.
Mm.
But he's a little bit more raw. Arquette, I was kind of pushing Arquette because I wanted someone to take him, so that spot would be taken. Thankfully, Travis, shout out. I could rely on you. Um, and then Steele Hall, he was very raw, very fast. Strikeout rates up. So I was a little hesitant on him. Obviously, he was mocked higher, but Fisher was the guy.
Gotcha.
Like Schoolcraft too.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, that's partly why we got him as well. You didn't want to go for Okamoto though. I mean, even though he's not super old, you didn't like that.
I didn't love it. The thing about these overseas players is like you never know what how they're going to do against U.S. pitching. It's just a different ball game. Japanese players tend to not, as a whole, average high velocity. Um, so that's what I was worried about with Murakami. I said my piece in the group chat earlier in this season. He's got a horrible OPS against fastballs above 95. Strikeout rate is high on breaking pitches. So we'll see. I trust the White Sox system to kind of acclimate him to the MLB, but I'm not here to risk it on guys that I don't think have the highest floor and are also like in the high 20s in age. So
Mm.
that's my thought process.
Gotcha. Fair enough. Fair enough. Going down the list here, you went Wahiva, Aloy, I believe Quentin Young or Quincy Young, was it Quentin? And then
Yeah, it's and
Ethan
then
Petrie.
Petri.
Yeah. So yeah, curious of your last three picks. I know that's a little bit more of a dart throw in the third, fourth, and fifth rounds, but yeah, you going two shortstops back to back.
Yeah, so Alloy was kind of the best available. I was looking at Cologne. Um, I thought he was good. He was a little bit more raw. Plus, Justin Wilson is the future shortstop on that team for the time being. So I didn't see that there was an immediate need. I did like LaViolette. I think that's how you pronounce his name.
Oh, was it? Oh, I thought it was
Um,
Laviolette.
okay, La Violette. You're probably right. But from what I was reading from multiple different things, they think that he might be only seeing right-handed pitching, and I was afraid of that. So well, with Alloy, he hit well in the Cape Cod League, and um, with wood bats, which was promising. Not an immediate need for Baltimore, but if Gunner goes to third and Holiday is the future and he goes to second, maybe there's a spot for him in the future. And then Quinn Young, I don't know how much a lot of people did their research. That is Delman Young's son.
Hmm.
He's got a lot of power, raw power. I think he had like a 65 tool power hitting. I'm not sure what it was, but it was high. He
Hmm.
was a diamond in the rough. And I can't speak too much about him because I know one of you savages will probably pick him up, scavengers like Travis, because it seems like there's a few people, forget who they are, but as soon as I drop someone, I know you're one of them. Seems like a couple days later, I see them on a team. I could speak on that forever with the players that I've dropped. But yeah, Quinn Young, he's a diamond in the rough. Petrie's got good hit tools, but I'm very happy um, with my roster for minor leaguers. So there just wasn't a spot for those two at the
Gotcha.
time.
Gotcha.
But
Gotcha. Gotcha. Yeah,
top three got
curious.
to keep.
Yeah, curious of I guess your thought process going into spring training. And I've been meaning to talk about this just generally on the pod, but how much do you take into account spring training stats? I know it's like, a guy can be amazing in spring training and be totally terrible during the year, and same thing, vice versa. If he's bad in spring training, could still be fine. How much do you take into spring training? What do you kind of look for, especially when it comes to
Mm.
picking up guys on waivers, maybe?
Yeah, there's a few things. I mean, now that we've had a couple spring trainings and I've watched spring training before this league even started, it's one of those things where you see guys that you may not see for a while and they're just getting that bad. So what I kind of keep an eye on is, yeah, there might be a guy that's just mashing in spring training. And this is kind of what I did last year. So I started noticing the guys that were hitting the ball well, maybe high average with some pop, getting guys in with and running a scoring position, but then they get sent down to double A, and then we don't hear from them all year. So you kind of take it with a grain of salt. You keep an eye on them. I kind of look at their stats from the minor leagues to see, okay, are they just hitting well because pitchers are kind of just trying to find their zone. They're testing some stuff out. They're not really pinpointing. So you kind of take those in consideration as someone who played through high school and knew a lot of people that went up to play college. It's just spring training can be a crapshoot, especially for pitching. They're just trying to find the zone. They're trying to test some stuff out. So pitching, I don't take a lot of stock in, especially if they're doing bad, because I just know that they're probably just trying to find their command, find their arm slot. It's a lot of things that go into it. So, but I do keep an eye on some people. You wouldn't believe how many people I have hearted in my
The watch list.
yeah, the watch list. So I got a lot of guys on other teams. So as soon as you guys drop them, I'm aware. But yeah,
You
spring
got the note
training,
he's on.
I got the noties on every guy that you guys drop. I'm aware of it. So be careful with that.
Gotcha. Sorry, I interrupted you. What were you gonna say?
No, I was just gonna say you keep it. I keep an eye on guys that are doing well, but that is not an end all be all. You kind of see where they get placed on the 40. They get picked up on the 40 man, or they just get sent back to single A, double A. But it is good that they're getting opportunities at that level. So that's also something to keep an eye on.
Yeah, something I look for sure is just how often are they starting? Which I know,
Right.
there could be like an all minors day and it doesn't mean anything, but when you see them play with the first teamers, it's like, okay, like, I'm seeing this kind of repetition of he's only starting versus you see guys that are maybe lower on the totem pole, only getting those reserve at bats in like the seventh or eighth innings. That's
Yeah.
something I look for sure. I think also curious of your thoughts of I don't know, I mean, do you follow pitchers list? Like have you been seeing these tweets with like the graphics and like the different sort of percentages and things like that? Is that something you're really, putting into stock?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if you probably saw it. It's started to get big of the last couple days, but there's a an account that has broken it down by pitch location, arm slot stuff. I don't want to share it with everyone, but if you're aware of it, you know what I'm talking about. Yeah, I followed it. We'll see how it goes. They give grades on stuff. They give grades on command, and then overall. So you got to take it with a grain of salt in the spring training, but it's definitely an account to keep an eye on.
I got you. I got you.
Yeah.
How much do you take velocity into account right now? Because I know there's certain people, at least for our guy, Spencer Strider, first start was like 92.6, like maybe 93 on his fastball, and everyone's, the sky's falling sort of thing. And then last start he gets to
Right.
96. So curious of what you think about velocity for your pitchers. Like, is that something that's really concerning right now?
In early spring training, no, especially with the injuries that Strider's coming off of. I'm very low on Roki. He's probably going to end up being a bullpen guy. But now, it's like I said, pitchers are working on some things. They want to get command first, then speed up the velocity as time goes on. So I'm not too worried about Strider. I don't think he's going to be hitting 99, 100 this year, but he'll probably be topping out at 97, 98. He's still a good pitcher. He's still pretty young, but he a perfect example is Kyle Harrison. So last year, Kyle Harrison, I mean, when he came into the league, he was touching 100 from the left side. So he was a high prospect. I drafted him. Um, then he had some injury woes. Then he had some command issues because he wasn't so the confidence wasn't high. He started dipping in velocity to trying to get the command to get better, and then it just never came to fruition. He got sent down, got brought back up. It just wasn't working. Giants ended up trading him, but um, the problem was is he was sitting. He went from 99 touching 100 to topping out at 92, 93 just a year later, and you're like, okay, what's going on? Tweak some stuff. The next year after that, started touching 95, but for a 20, what is it, 24 now?
Yeah.
That's pretty concerning. So, and it's not like he's a big guy. He's lengthy, but he's not like built like Strider. So you take those things in. I finally had to get rid of him. He got traded to Boston. Boston traded him to Milwaukee, who will probably revive him. Of course, it's kind of how it goes. Also, there's thunderstorm, so I don't know if you can hear that, but you may hear thunderstorm in the background.
No, I
So
got
just
you.
kidding. But yeah, velocity is something to watch, but you're not going to see Max Scherzer hitting 96 anymore. So
Yeah, no, that's true. That's true. What I guess something that popped in my mind is what was a trade last year? Yeah, I'm sure like you're a big trade guy. We would try and trade
mm.
here or there. What was a trade that almost happened, if you can reveal that you wish did, or maybe like terms of a deal you did make that like yeah, at the beginning I thought about giving this guy away, but then it fell through.
You know, I don't remember. I do know who gave me Beck,
No, that
Jordan
was us.
Beck. Yeah, I wanted a little bit more out of you. But no, I mean, I got rid of a shortstop. I got rid of Bo because I had Jeremy Pena, Neto, um, Rafaela. I can't pronounce his name.
Rafaela,
Sedin.
yeah.
Yeah, Rafaela. He plays short, and now he's probably going to be full outfield. I don't remember if there was anything that almost came to fruition. A lot of you guys are stingy. You value your players a little bit more than you should. How do you get out of that, guys? Um, but it just depends on what mindset you have. If you have a win now mindset, if you say, "Oh, I'm going to make a push. I'm in, fifth or sixth place. I could do with some guys that are hitting well that are a little older." Um, or you're like Noah or T-Flow, and you're like, "I'm at the bottom. I need to get some prospects back." So kind of just depends. I'm debating whether or not to start flipping some prospects. Just FYI to you guys. But we'll see. It's got to be the right moment. So I think I got some good young guys that are in double A. I try to look for double A. That's my sweet spot because double A you can kind of skip triple A
Right.
if you're good enough. Single A depends on how old you are. If you're like 19, I could get away with that.
Mhm.
But if you're 22 and single A, I don't know how keen I would be to keep them or look for them. So
Right.
just some thought. I can't think of anything. I did the only person that I am very upset about dropping, and I'll just touch on this. There's a lot of people in the league that have players that I have dropped that are doing very well or up and coming. Cole Pepper, up and coming, is one of them. I drafted him.
Yep.
Um, but Pajes, Andy Pajes, that is one that I am still kicking myself at. I knew the stuff was there. He he just wouldn't hit in the MLB. There's a lot of outfielders in the Dodgers organization that were coming up, pushing on him. They sent him down for a little bit, started hitting well, brought him back up. All of a sudden, he's a new changed man. I had to drop him because I was like, I can't. I have no spot for him. And then as soon as I drop him, one of you vultures picked him up and he turned into what he is now. So still kicking myself for that one.
Hey, we are the kings of dropping guys who eventually do amazing, like, Jose Barrios in 2024, who we dropped because he had like six terrible starts in a row, and then he goes off for like a 20 piece every game for Travis, like after that. So
Yeah. Was
it
it you that picked
happens.
up Andy Pajes or was
That
it
was
your
us. Yeah,
partner?
yeah, that was us.
I still kick myself. I wanted him back so bad, but you weren't budging.
Yeah, sorry to hear that.
Yeah.
Looking at your roster right now, overall, obviously, things have will continue to shake out. I know a lot of guys in the league. You're actually one of few whose roster is completely legal. So I just want to give you a shout out on that.
I
A lot,
try.
lot of guys, they be having guys who actually, if anything, you're one under because Lourdes Gurriel could start the year on the IL. Same with Pena. So
Yeah.
you actually have some space, but. Yeah, looking at your roster overall, obviously, as we mentioned, a lot of youth, a lot of guys under 28 years old. And for the record, I did like the Vinny trade, especially now that Bo's in New York and like he might just be at DH. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. Vinny's good. I think he's young. Kansas City just moved in their field, so he's due for a little bit more power this year, I think. So I thought that was a
Yeah.
pretty one-to-one trade. I thought that was a good one. But yeah, I guess let's just start with your hitting. Um, is Warming Bernabel going to stay on this roster come week one? Do you believe in this kid?
I do believe in him. I think I mean, he had a decent rookie season last year when he got called up. Rockies, or he's Washington now. He got traded.
Yeah, I believe he got DFA'd and then Washington got him.
That's crazy to me because he was batting like I don't know 250 last year. Had a few home runs and was getting on base. It's not like the Rockies have a lot of really top end prospects. I mean, if they're going to go with what's his name at first base, the switch hitter, I can't think of his name. Um,
Oh well, there's a couple guys, but I mean like Troy Johnston or Blaine Crim, I think are competing for first right now.
I had Krim. I also dropped him last year, but I had held on to him for a little bit. I don't know. Warming, we'll see. I think he got a minor league contract, which is a bummer. So I know he's starting out in the minor leagues. So the only thing that I'm kind of worried about is Robert Hassel. I'm not
That's right.
I'm not sold on him, but I'm gonna hold on to him for a little bit. We'll see how it pans out. There's a spot in the outfield for him, but it's not guaranteed for him. There's some guys in that Washington minor leagues that are going to be making a case for themselves. So we'll see. He probably has a short leash, but for now he's going to stay. If one of my minor leaguers starts knocking on the door, and I feel like Moises, if he starts knocking on the door,
Right.
some other guys like if Emmanuel Rodriguez starts knocking or CJ Kayfis starts knocking,
Mhm.
Robert Hassel's my first cut. So we'll see.
Your
We will
first cut,
see.
not even warming.
It depends. It may be warming, maybe Hassel. If Hassel just isn't getting the at bats, or they may move him down.
Right.
We'll see. I think Warming has a better shot at first base in that organization because I can't think of a first baseman on their team. So I think Nathaniel Lau was kind of their
Well,
first
now
baseman
now
last
they're
year.
starting to put Luis Garcia Jr. at first.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see how that pans out. He's got a good hit tool. I don't know how good he is at defensive play, so we'll see. We'll see. Warming Bernabel is a lot better defensive player, so we'll see how that plays out.
You're one of, I believe, probably one players in the league that has three starting catchers. Curious of
Yes.
your thoughts. I mean, Kyle T obviously can hit the hell out of a ball, really good hit tool. Gabby Moreno, he's a good player. Rushman, I think is due for a bounce back. Call me crazy, but yeah, curious of having three catchers on your squad. Is
It's
this a
nerve
trade
wracking.
piece? Or you just like what they can produce?
It's nerve wracking. I like all of them. Kyle Teal. The only thing I'm worried about is Edgar Carrero is right there with him.
Right.
And I think they lean towards Carrero for defensive play. Plus, he's a switch hitter and Teal's lefty. So I'm a little worried about that. I wish Teal would have stayed with the Red Sox. I think they would have been very well suited for their starting catching position. But no, Teal's a dog. I think he's going to have a very good season as long as he stays healthy. I'm not worried about Teal. Moreno, everyone seems to be low on him. I am high on him. I think he is consistently putting up points as long as he's healthy. Um, he's younger, he's 26. I think he's a starting catcher for the most part going into the season. But I am worried about Adley. Two pretty down years. Plus, Basalo is right there knocking on the door. Um, so we'll see. But I'm pretty comfortable with them starting. I don't have a lot of room right now to kind of switch out Adley. We'll see. His strikeout rate was up last year, which was very disappointing.
Right.
So we'll see if he fixes that. So he's getting old now. He's 28. He came into the league a little older, so something to keep an eye on.
What a world where 28 is considered old in Major League Baseball, but
I don't know if you guys have looked at it, but I have not printed out, but I put on an Excel sheet everyone's team. And I don't know if you've taken a look at it, the average age of the starters on each team.
I actually
You
haven't.
can
I'm curious to hear it.
you can kind of see where everyone's out. The oldest is Noah or Nate Breckenridge, I think
Mm,
is his name.
yeah.
Nate's average starter age for his hitters is 29 and a half.
Wow.
And that includes his reserves. What else we got? We got First Rangers 28 and a half. Um, I think you got a pretty young roster if I remember correctly. Yeah, I mean 28, just over 28. I mean, if we look at me, my average age for hitters is 26.
Mm,
So, and Zane's is 26 and a half. So
right.
he's young and Zane makes me mad.
He makes a lot of people mad.
Zane's got a good um, minor
He's
league
got it all.
roster, and he's got young hitters already starting on his team.
Yeah.
Don't get me started with Zane. Shout out to Zane, my boy. Um, Tom, about 28 average age, 28 for Alec, but Alec's got an insane minor league system.
Yeah.
27 for Travis, 27 for T Flow, 27 for Noah. Um, let's see, 20, almost 30 for Nick. Actually, yeah,
Wow.
30 for Nick. And I
That's
mean, he's got some outliers. He's got Nolan Arenado, Andy Diaz at 34. He's
yeah,
got Giancarlo Stanton at 36.
that's true.
So that sways it. Mark 20 28 and a half. So just a shout out to you guys. Got some aging players out there. So we'll talk more about your minor league system when later in the podcast. So
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I think for us, I mean, yeah, we also have some definite old Johns for sure. I mean, guys like Marcus Simeon, Freddie Freeman,
mm,
those guys are old as hell. And then you guys like around 30, like a Pete Alonso or Willie Adames, Christian Walker,
right.
34. Kyle Schwarber's 33, but we really have hit on some of these young guys, like a Drake Baldwin who's 24. Like all of our outfield,
Yeah.
except for Byron Buxton who's 32, are like 25 or younger. Like a Dalen Lyle, a Jacob Marcy,
Mm,
as you mentioned, Chandler Simpson. Um,
hmm.
those guys are pretty damn young. And then, of course, unfortunately, we got Christian Campbell and Carson Williams, who are both 23 and 22 respectively. So.
Yeah.
We got a good mix. I think that was kind of our intention when we were drafting was let's go like old young, or like pitcher hitter kind of thing. So I liked our mix, but yeah,
I do
definitely.
like your outfield.
Thank you. I mean, and a lot
Byron
of these guys
Buxton.
we
Go
picked up
ahead.
on waivers.
Yeah. Buxton, Lyle. I think he's the guy that's competing over Hassel.
Right.
Marcy's gonna be has a spot. He's young. Andy Pajes. I don't need to get into that. Chandler Simpson. He's gonna be an on base machine as long as he starts consistently. And they're all young, besides Buxton, obviously. But I don't know. A little nervous about Buxton. He came out of the game,
That's true. I mean, at least what I read on Twitter,
so
like, oh, he's actually okay.
yeah, it's probably precautionary.
Yeah. So who knows?
But I do like your outfield.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. I appreciate that. And then looking at your pitching, just curious of, I mean, obviously you got Skeens, who's a dog and is going to be a dog for a very long time. Chase Burns again, another guy. I didn't give him enough credit. I will say in the last pod, I didn't give him enough
Yeah.
credit for being a good pick. Yeah, you're right. I agree. I just think that like some of the injury stuff, I'm like, is he going to be? And towards the end of the year last year, he wasn't like amazing. Um, but yeah,
Yeah.
curious of your thoughts on your pitchers. Joey Cantillo, I liked. Reed Detmers, young guy, I also liked. I also liked Matt Swanson, I believe is his last name, because he was a
Spanson.
dog.
I think it's with the V.
Is it Svensson? Okay.
Yeah.
Um, High K guy, doesn't have a high whip.
Yeah.
A .87 whip. So I thought he could be in the running for potential closing opportunities. But yeah, just curious of your pitching staff. I know you got like six guys hurt. So yeah, curious of your thoughts.
It's incredible. Yeah. I mean, I like Andrew Abbott. I know he struggles here and there, but he's got good command. I've always been high on him. He's still 26. He's still got a spot in the starting. He's still what, number one or two? Probably number two. In that pitching rotation behind
Hunter Green.
um Hunter Green if he's healthy. Chase Burns, I think he has earned a spot. I mean, we all remember his electric debut.
Right.
I mean, I remember it. Um, Mitch Keller was shopped around because he's going to consistently probably put up, excuse me, 300 points each year, if not 350. Hold on, excuse
Gotta stay hydrated.
me. Yeah, I got something stuck in my throat. Um, so this is vodka, by the way. No, I'm kidding. Um, so Mitch Keller is one of those guys who's going to consistently get you probably 300 points as long as he stays healthy.
Right.
He's got a spot in the starting rotation. Uh, Liberatore, he's been on and off the team. He's been on your team.
That's right.
He just can't stay consistent. I feel like he just rattles off like three good starts in a row, and then he has like two horrible ones, and you're like, all right, I can't. And they're not even against bad team or good teams that he gets poor starts against. So he's a wild card. If he stays healthy, he's still 26. I unfortunately have to um, kind of just take a flyer on him because, as you can see, my IR list is the length of a full page. So, Paul Skeens, and I don't need to speak about him, but Bidwa and
Yeah,
Cantillo. Go ahead.
Curious why you got him, yeah, Benoit, like in the starting lineup. I mean, I know you don't have much minor slots, but who even is this guy?
He, man, I looked into him. Everyone that I pick up, I do a lot of research, and I picked him up earlier, either last year, I think late last year, in the off season. And I remember seeing a lot of good things about him. I think he's got a lot of velocity, but he pitched well in the minors, and that is something. It's not like the bullpen for Pittsburgh is anything worth talking about. So
Hmm.
it's it was one of those guys to kind of take a flyer on to see what happens. He's in AAA. He's going to probably start there. I mean, he in 2025 across he just jumped through the minor leagues. But it looks like through 2025 he had a .74 ERA, zero point 0.8 WHIP, 69 to 27 K to walk ratio over 61 innings as a 24-year-old. So I'm sure we'll be seeing his name pop up at some point this year in that bullpen for Pittsburgh. So not terribly high on him, but bullpen pieces are a dime a dozen in my opinion. So that's how I feel about relief pitchers. Unless you got a high end closer,
Yeah, exactly.
it's kind of one of those things. Spear is I don't know how to pronounce his name. Spire.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, we'll see. He's going to be a good bullpen piece. He's not going to be top end. He'll probably be situational. Detmers, he's going to be probably a long relief. They're tinkering whether or not they want him to be a starting pitcher, but I'm not relying on that. Um, Swanson, I think he'll be a good bullpen piece.
Hmm.
Um, Dean Kremer is one of those guys, kind of like Mitch Keller. He's probably going to get you a few decent starts, kind of stay consistent, not really put up a lot of bad starts, but
Right.
not give you negative points. And then McGreevy, I think you're familiar with him.
That's right.
St. Louis has just got a lot to do with their bullpen and their starting pitching staff. So I think I'm taking flyers on a lot of guys in St. Louis's pitching rotation. So we'll see.
Looking at your, I guess we'll start with your pitching minors slots. A lot of
Yeah.
top guys. I mean, a Jonah Tom who is, love, the funky delivery, but he's a guy that gets a ton of Ks. You
Mm,
mentioned Quinn Matthews, J.R. Ritchie, who I think it will be Bryce Elder in the rotation, but a lot of people are talking about him that he might be a guy that they bring up from AAA sort of thing this year. Elmer Rodriguez, maybe not Lagrange for the Yankees,
right.
a guy that is making some noise. Gage Jump, a guy that we should have got. I mean, I saw his name. He was another AAA guy or AA guy who looked good last year. Yeah, just speak to your pitching minors, Hunter Barco as well. Like, if I guess finish the sentence for me. If
Yeah.
blank pitchers make it to the bigs this year, I will be happy.
If a couple, I mean, I'm Blade Tidwell is probably gonna have a spot. Jonah Tong, I'd be surprised if he's not back in starter. Elmer, I think may see the majors this year. So I got a lot of guys. So my thought process, and I can disclose this, is like I said, I'm looking at double A guys. I'm looking at guys that are in double A pitching well. Looking at certain stats that would make me believe that they're probably going to translate to the majors, maybe even skip triple A. Um, Pitching is easy to do that. You're not going to see a lot of guys like go from double A and then stay in triple A if they're doing well in double A.
Right,
Um, so there's not a big jump from double A to triple A, but there's a big jump from triple A to the MLB. So it's like, do I really need to put him through the AAA if we think that he's going to probably do well in AAA? So there's a lot of guys. So if you guys are looking at minor leaguers to pick up, just know that I am shopping double A and I'm looking intently. And I have a lot of guys favorited that I come back to. So um, if you see me pick up a guy, it's because I've done a lot of research on him and I feel confident about it. Like, I don't even think a lot of people know about Johnny King. Johnny King will be a name you guys start hearing jumping up the what's their prospect boards. Um, Henderson, Ian Henderson for St. Louis.
I like
Some of you
that.
guys have
I
probably
like
heard
that.
about him. He's going to be jumping up. I mean, Wenninger, he's pitching well. The problem is he doesn't throw high 90s, but he throws mid 90s. He has good command. Problem is the Mets pitching staff has got a lot of good pitching coming up. So, in Young, McLean, Jonah Tong, got a couple other guys working in the. So, I feel really good about my minor league pitching staff. I think Hunter Barco, I mean, they're listing him as a relief pitcher, which I'm kind of worried about, but he's right there. Um, he would be a guy that maybe transitions back to starting pitching as one goes down.
Mhm.
Praying it's not any of the two guys I have, but um, I feel very happy. Odd Liam Doyle, Anderson Burrito, also going to be something that people will keep an eye on. So I feel good. I still have Jackson Jobe. I still have Reese Olson. I still have Schwellenbach. Um, so there's a lot of young guys. DJ Hers, don't know what he's going to be. Um, but I got a spot for him in the IR for now. So we'll see.
Gotcha.
We will see.
Gotcha. Yeah, a lot of guys that I liked and guys that were available last year that you picked up. Yeah, Johnny King, I've definitely seen his name around. Gage Jump, I think, has a lot of potential, especially given the fact that the A's don't really have a ton of minor league. There's a lot of question marks for their rotation for sure. Yeah, obviously Quinn Matthews, he could be a guy as well. So you got some top end guys for sure. I'm obviously, partial to Wenninger and Burrito because we traded him to you in the
Yeah.
Jordan Beck deal. So yeah, I guess we'll just have to see. Moving over to your hitters though, a lot of top end guys as well. Cam Collier, Fisher, Aiden Miller, who some say might break out. Max Clark, as we talked about. Kefis Rodriguez, a guy that we had for a little bit, Gabriel Gonzalez for Minnesota. A lot of guys on teams who kind of have a need. I mean, Minnesota, I don't even know what the hell they're doing with their team right now, but
I know. They're
these minors guys, they could get a shot this year come July.
yeah. Yeah. I mean, E-Man, I mean, I don't know what they're waiting for. Trevor Larnach is still 29. He's still an above average hitter for their outfield. But Buxton's out there, and I don't know who their left fielder is. I'm blanking on him, but I think he's got a spot at least as the fourth outfielder.
Right.
Just or maybe even Gabriel Gonzalez. We'll see who beats who, but E-Man's got some strikeout rate problems, so maybe they'll work through that. But the power's there, so and he's a lefty, and that ballpark feeds well to lefties. So we'll see. Kafis, I'm high on Kafis. He'll be on the starting roster, if not the fourth outfielder. So Dakota Johnson is a name that you'll hear from the Giants. He's
Or
kind
Dakota
of going
Jordan.
up the ranks. Dakota Jordan, yeah.
I
Sorry,
think he was playing
can't
in
read.
the WBC game for Team USA, I think I saw.
And he had an RBI base hit
Right.
for USA. So he's a name to keep an eye on. I mean, Luis Matos, he's probably going to have a starting spot. He's the most frustrating from a Giants fan, frustrating prospect because it's there. It's just not consistent enough. So, Josue De Paula, I mean, we all know what he is. Bryce Rayner, I'm very high on him. Who has Theo Gillen? Is it you
I
or
think Travis.
one of the other vultures?
Oh, for Tampa, yeah, it's First Ranger. So Tyler.
First Ranger, yeah. Theo Gillen, I had dropped him because I just felt like there wasn't a spot for him.
Mhm.
I'm kicking myself over that one. I mean, he's 20, so he probably won't see. That's kind of why I dropped him because he was like 19. He's raw. I think he was a high school prospect. And it just like I wasn't going to see a return on him for another couple years. So I was like, I say goodbye to that. But I've been seeing a lot of good things about Theo Galen. But yeah, I feel pretty good. I mean, it's not, I would like to say that my minor leaguers are the best in the league for our league. So, but I have to call out a couple people now that we're talking about minor leaguers that just make me mad every time I'm researching a guy, and I feel good about him and I look him up. There's one name that consistently comes up, and he's going to enjoy this. It's Alex. Every time I see Bouchard's name show up when I'm looking up a minor leaguer, it
Every
makes me
time.
angry. Almost every time, it's either him or I think it's Mark. Also has a few guys that I've looked up, and I'm like, oh, yep, he's on that team. So Bouchard. I mean, if we want to talk about minor leaguers and transition to that, I know we've been going on for this podcast for a little bit, but if we talk about teams that have very good prospects that I'm very high on, I've highlighted a few. Bouchard is obviously, in my opinion, number one. He's got Basalo, Brandon Taylor, Jesus Mate, Luis Pena, Zaire Hope, Walker Jenkins, Hector Rodriguez, who I had.
That's
So
right.
he clearly has been keeping an eye on me. Zach Veen, who this is another example of my luck. He was top prospect in the Colorado Young. Had him on my team for a while. Then he just couldn't find the answer in the big leagues, and then I drop him. Of course, Bouchard picks him up, and then he puts on 40 pounds of muscle
Yeah.
mass, and he's this tank that's hitting balls 460. It's just, I don't even want to get into it, but yeah. And then you look at his pitching. He's got Jackson Ferris. He's got Lagrange, who looked up recently. Of course, he's on Bouchard's team. Andrew Painter, little worried about him, but he should be good. Luis Paredes, also on my team at one point. Um, and Peyton Tole. So he's stacked. He's got school ball from me, obviously. And then he's got Jacob Mizorowski, who that is one person that I almost got from him before he came up to the majors.
Mm.
Now that I'm remembering, I almost got Jacob Mizorowski from him, um, but he wouldn't bite. He's a little finicky when it comes to trades,
Oh yeah.
um, but yeah, another team that's got. I mean, you got some good minor leaguers that would look at yours. I'm not including this year's draft, but
Yeah.
Jarlin Susana, Ryan Weiss, Beater might be something. Um, Hans is a little older for me, but you know he's going to get starts right off the bat. Alejandro Rosario. Then you look at your hitters, and you got Jefferson Quero, my rival oh, no, he's the Milwaukee guy. Never mind, wrong career. Christian Moore. You got Angel Canayo, who was also on my team at one point. George Valera. So you got some guys. Do you want anything you got to say to speak to that? Those are the guys that I pointed out.
Yeah, no, love them. I mean, Christian Moore, thankfully he got minors eligibility again, so we were able to put him in that slot. He's gonna age out of it within the first week, unfortunately.
Yeah,
But
you have to make a
um,
decision.
yeah, we got a lot of tough decisions to be made. Um, yeah, a couple of guys that we picked up recently. I mean, Alfredo Duno, I'm such a big
Yeah.
fan of him. The guy hits absolute missiles, and he's
Who
young.
was on his team before? What team was he on before?
I don't think he was on anyone's.
Let me see.
He was just
Thought he was.
existing.
Let me
Yeah,
see
we picked
here.
him up in July of last year.
Okay. I don't know why. I thought I had a Duno on my team before,
Hmm.
but maybe not. Maybe I was looking at him. Do I have him starred? Oh, I do. That's what it was. I'm keeping an eye on him, just so you know.
That's right. I got you. Yeah, we got a couple guys that I think have made some noise in spring training, like Sam Antonacci for the White Sox, who, again, I think you and I probably run in the same minors circles. Like I think our prospects are
Mm,
probably same. We look at, at least for myself, a guy who gets a lot of innings. That's usually those guys go to the bigs or a high K rate.
mm,
And then for hitters, it's kind of that combination of power, average, and speed, like have they stolen bases. And a guy like Aaron Estrada for Baltimore kind of fits all those profiles. I think he was like one of three dudes in the minors last year who had like at least 15 homers, 25 steals, and like a K rate under 10%, something like that. Something nice like that. So
right.
picked him up. Yeah, a lot of guys, I think the way we view our minor slots is it really is like a triple A. Like Zach Cole. George Valera, Moore. Like these are all guys that are going to age out, and
Right.
hopefully they become something. But I mean, that's kind of what we had with Drake Baldwin last year.
Right.
He was a guy in our minor slot, and then he's got too good to keep down there, so we brought him up. Now, not every one of our players is like that, but we've gotten lucky. Chandler Simpson as well. Another guy we brought up, Dalen Lyle was a minors guy. Jacob Marcy, another minors guy. So we're
Yeah.
definitely paying attention when it comes to like minors eligible major leaguers, but
Mhm.
not all of them hit. Um, and then looking down at our pitching as well. Same thing, like a lot of these KBO guys, we wanted them because we knew that they're gonna get starts, and it's kind of like with the Padres back end, someone has to hit. One person
Yeah.
has to hit. The odds are that maybe it's Ponce who goes for at least around 10 a game. Like that would be a success. Um,
Right.
so we will see. Yeah, the one guy we did like who we had in the minors who brought up for the pitching was I mean obviously Noah Cameron. That's our darling minors prospect, but also former San Diego State guy Troy Melton, who was
Mm.
like I know Nick will shade me for this, but I love long relievers because they get you an automatic like 6 or 8 points at least like once or twice a week. Um, and Melton was good in his starts. Like he started 3 games. His first start was his like first major league action, which he was like mid, and then he had a 26 piece, and then he had a 25 piece. So he can start, but then the Tigers bring in a guy like Verlander and totally cuts us. So.
Yeah.
He's also hurt right now, which is the issue. But I like a lot of our minors guys. Yeah, I'm kind of same as you when we're looking up prospects. A lot of them are on Bouchard's team or on Nick's team or on
Yeah.
Newman's team, and so I think that's really what I want to see from the league this year. And this is partly why I'm having this pod with you right now. Is I want to see like the lower teams like a Noah or a Nate actually use their minor slots because they're so valuable.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's another name to shout out is Zane. I don't know if you've looked at his team recently,
Oh
but
yeah, ridiculous.
his hitters is, I mean, I highlighted a few that are obviously going to be something. Jordan Lawler, Colt Emerson. I mean, Connor Griffin. He's going to be starter probably. Johnny Level. These are all shortstops, by the way.
Yeah.
Johnny Level, Kevin McGonigal, Sebastian Walcott, Spencer Jones. I mean, I'm not high on Jason Chiriro, can't say it, but
Hmm.
not really high on him. He's still young, so he's got some time. And he just drafted Ethan Conrad. He's got Jacob Melton there too. The only thing he's lacking is his pitching minor leaguers. I mean, the only name that really is worth mentioning is Noah Schultz, and even he was struggled a little bit in the minor leagues. So
Right.
Boston Bateman, he's maybe a name to look out for eventually, but problem is like okay, maybe his minor leagues isn't that good, but then you look at the players that are actually starting. You got Crochet, you got Connerly Early, you got Zebby Matthews, you got Braxton Ashcraft. You got some good. You got Hunter Green, Luis Morales, Brandon Wu. I mean, it just is
Trevor Rogers, who
frustrating.
we all should have got. I mean, that guy was available on waivers, and
Uh,
we just like,
I know.
it's a flash in the
Uh,
pan, and then he gets like double digits every start.
yeah, and then you look at his hitters, and he's got Alvarez at catcher, which is it might be okay.
I
You
think
got
you
Ellie
might
De
have
La
a case to
Cruz.
trade Adley to him.
That's true. That's true, but I wouldn't want a catcher for a catcher. I need
No,
to
no,
get
no,
rid of
not
catching.
doing a 1 for 1, but like maybe getting some
Yeah,
depth from him. Because yeah, Alvarez, I mean,
that's true.
189 points per game. I don't know.
Yeah, we'll see how that works out. I mean, he's still got Lindor, he's got Jackson Chourio, Pete Crow Armstrong, Ramos,
Right.
Suzuki. I mean, Roman Anthony, Kyle Tucker. It's disgusting. Honestly, the commissioners should do something about his team and start giving away his players because he's a little too stacked for my liking. Now, funny story. So when Zane and I worked together, we worked in like a really small office. There's like five of us,
Hmm.
and we sat. across the other room from each other, but we used to play the game where you'd have, three teams at the top and three teams on the side. I forget what it's called. What is it called? Um, where you like try to guess players that played on both teams at some point.
I don't know. Are you talking about the grid, immaculate grid?
Yeah, the grid. Yeah. So before the grid got big and before it, people could just play it all the time, we used to do that in the office on a piece of paper. And our boss caught Zane one time doing it while work and got so mad at him. So shout out to Zane. I still remember those times, and I miss him. Hope you're doing well, buddy.
Love to hear that. Yeah,
But
damn.
but get rid of those players so you can have a legal team.
Yeah, exactly. And I think he's got a lot of guys on IL right now. Like, I mean, Snell, Green, Uceta, I think are hurt, and like Lindor, Westberg, also could be swapped out. But I still think he's still like one or two over the limit, which, it is what it is. But
Crack
um,
down, Nick.
yeah, exactly. Looking overall at the league, another season coming your way in a couple weeks here. Um, I guess any sort of, I'm not saying you need to tip your cap here, but any sort of off-season moves that you want to make to get yourself ready for the year. Is this a year you want to compete, or are you still trying to build?
Oh, I want to compete every year. It just depends on if my team has the same mindset as me. So I mean, Zach Neto. I think Sedane, I can't even say his name,
Rafael, yeah.
but Rafaela. I think he's going to have a breakout season. I think Neto's still going to be great. Alex Burleson, as you know, he's going to put up 300 plus points. Pena, as long as he stays healthy. I'm worried about Matt Shaw. I'm high on Chase Meredith. I think he's going to be just a guy that gets on base all the time. I mean, he has an insane walk rate for a 24-year-old. I mean, I got a lot of guys that have high upside. Kerry Carpenter, I've always been high on. Julio. I mean, James Wood needs to knock down the strikeout rate, but Gurriel's always good for 200 plus points. And then I picked up Benintendi, who's just an on-base machine. So
Right.
we'll see. I'm hoping pitching gets healthier, but as long as pitching is not healthy, which I got at least a half a season of that, we're not going to be able to compete in the top. I mean, if I can get anywhere from like ninth to seventh, ninth to sixth, end up there, that'd be a plus for this year. But no, I'm not going to be competing this year, not with how many injuries I have on pitching.
Yeah, I mean, yeah,
So
if Schwelly was healthy and the Olsen Joe combination was healthy, maybe there'd be a
yeah,
conversation. But yeah, I'm curious, I guess, like as to if you're not going to compete this year, to why have a guy like Spire or even like yeah, like not in Benintendi. Benintendi's good, but I guess like if he's taking up a roster spot, like what is the thought process there if a younger guy could be got?
yeah. I mean, the my thought, like I said at the beginning, is like I'm always going to not tank, and I'm always going to compete, and I'm always going to want to be competitive as much as I can. But I'm also very realistic. Um, So, do I think I'm going to compete with the Zanes or the Toms or the Bouchards of this season? Probably not. But I'm still going to give people a run for their money. Maybe upset some people on weeks where my team decides to play baseball the right way. Um, so, I mean, I'm still going to compete. I'm still going to fill out a roster. I'm still gonna research guys in the minor leagues, still gonna compete to pick up people that are playing above average that we didn't expect that are available in the waivers. So you'll never see me not compete, but being realistic, I'm not going to be in the top four. So it would be a miracle this year at least.
Yeah, right.
So
Curious, final couple questions I got for you before we go. Maybe looking ahead a little bit, to
mhm.
2027 first year player draft. Maybe you'll get the first pick, maybe you'll get the third pick, but I don't know how to pronounce the name, but Rock Chalowski from UCLA. Is that like a
Stud.
consensus number one right now? Like, who are you looking for next year?
I mean, they got three dogs at the top that I'm paying attention to more because the Giants have, I think, a number three pick or number four pick. I think it's one of the two. But so I'm kind of keeping track of the top, few prospects, and that UCLA shortstop is reminds me of Nick Kurtz from the right side. Like just mashes the ball, tall, lengthy, plays, good defense. He's going to be the number one overall pick in the MLB, let alone our league. So we got LeBron, also shortstop, that is making a name of himself. There's a couple of really good shortstops at the top, but I haven't dug into it too much, but I am aware. We'll see what happens, but I'm excited for the Giants, and hopefully I won't have to pick in the top four again. But if I do, I'll be paying attention. Don't you worry.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm on the Fantrax player section. Obviously, Chalowski has been picked up. He's rostered in 6% of leagues, which obviously they don't have the restrictions that we do. But a guy that has come up who I believe just got added to the player pool, Kyler Murray for the Athletics in center
Oh my
field.
goodness,
Do
that's
you, do
hilarious.
we think? I mean, would you take a flyer on Kyler Murray?
If I was playing horrible and I just couldn't buy a win, I might just pick him up just to be funny. But he's going to be getting not paid very well at a new team in the NFL. So we'll see what happens with him. But that's hilarious that they added him. He won't come to the MLB. There's no way.
No, yeah, and he said he wants to be an NFL quarterback. So I mean, you know, but hey, he's played in spring training before, kind of like what Russell Wilson as well.
Yeah,
Even though they both
Russell
were
Wilson.
not good, hitting the ball, but crazier things have happened.
That's true.
Um, all right, that's yeah. Any final thoughts? I guess you have any prospects that have caught your eye? I mean, not that need to tip your cap here, but I mean, was it Lucas Ramirez guy for the Angels is looked good, and who was that? The 17-year-old
Hmm.
that got judged to ground out. Like anything you've seen, I guess that's like, I'm not going to pick him up, but that's interesting.
Yeah, Lucas Ramirez was now that you brought him up, he was our most recent heart guy that is on my eye. Actually, I think I did it last night.
Surprised you didn't
And
pick him up.
then, like I said, there's just he's the Angels guy, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I mean, like I said, you kind of keep an eye on it. You want to hope that it translates. I think he's still like 20 or something.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, he's 20 years old. He's still in I think he's still in single A, maybe going to double A after what his performances looked at. So it's one of those things I mean, the Angels, you never know with that organization, right? But like you might see who they just drafted, the pitcher, see if he
Oh,
even
yeah,
makes it to the
Bremner.
big leagues this year. Yeah, Bremer. So who knows with that organization? They bring up guys whenever they feel like it. So no, he's a guy to look out for, but you always take it with a grain of salt. There's also a guy who had a home run off of Logan Webb to start the game
Mm.
for Brazil. He had two homers in that game, so something to keep an eye on as well.
There you go. There you go. All right, Joey, that's all I got for you. I appreciate you talking prospects, talking teams. Should be an exciting year. I'm always looking forward to your contributions in the group chat. Always
I try.
appreciate it. Yeah. Thank you for coming on the podcast this week.
Yeah, of course. Thanks for having me, Alec. You know where to find me.
There you go. The stove is warm, warming.
Yes, sir. Always warm on my team.
There you go. All right, Joey. Appreciate the time. Thank you for watching. This has been another edition, and we'll see you soon.
Thanks, Keith.
Take it easy.